Hey everybody, welcome back to Math 251. In this video, we are going to be talking about the chain rule, which allows us to take the derivatives of composite functions. So just as a reminder, a composite function is of this form, f of g of x. So it looks like either this symbol right here or simply f of g of x. And we call f of x, in this case, the outer function, and we call g of x the inner function. So if we have a composite function f of g of x, then the derivative of this function is given by f prime of g of x times g prime of x. This is how we will usually deal with composite functions in terms of f and g, but there is another kind of way to view these kinds of composite functions, and that is in terms of a function of y, which is a function of u, and u is a function of x, and then we have this formula as well, but most often we will be using the one up here. So the most important thing for the chain rule is to make sure that we have correctly identified our outer function f and our inner function g. So when we're dealing with polynomials like in these two examples, our outer function will often be a power. So let's do these examples, and this will give us a little bit of practice in terms of identifying our outer function and our inner function. So in this first example, we have that we want to find the derivative of y equals x cubed minus 7x squared plus 2, all of this raised to the power of 5. So what is our outer function f? Well, f of x is equal to x to the power of 5. But what does this x mean right here? Well, basically this x is acting as a placeholder for our function g. So our function g of x is the inside stuff, which is x cubed minus 7x squared plus 2. And if we wanted to check our work here to make sure that we correctly have f and g, we could do that off to the side here. So what is f of g of x in terms of our two functions that we have defined here? Well, f of g of x, remember, this means that wherever I see an x and the function f, I replace that x with the whole function g of x. So f of x is x to the power of 5, but since I'm taking f of g of x, I replace this x with the whole function g of x. So this will look like, x cubed minus 7x squared plus 2 to the power of 5, which is my original function. So I am good to go. We just checked our work to make sure that we had the correct inner and outer function. So now in order to use the chain rule, I need to find f prime of x, which in this case is 5x to the power of 4, and g prime of x, which is equal to 3x squared minus 14x. And now that we have all of these pieces, we can plug into the chain rule. So we know that y prime is equal to f prime of g of x times g prime of x. So f prime is 5x to the power of 4, but I'm not asking for f prime of x, I'm asking for f prime of g of x. So I'm going to replace this x with the function g of x. So that's x cubed minus 7x squared plus 2, plus 2 to the power of 4. So that is f prime of g of x, and then we multiply this by g prime, which is 3x squared minus 14x. Another way to think about this is that this is the derivative of the outer function. Derivative of the outer function times the derivative of the inner function. And this is the chain rule. This is our answer. Let's do another example. In the second one, we want to find the derivative of y equals sine x plus x squared, all of this to the power of 3. So what is our outer function? Well, our outer function is f of x equals x cubed, and our inner function g of x is equal to sine x plus x squared. And again, if we wanted to check our work to make sure that we have these functions right, we certainly could. This gives us that f prime of x is equal to 3x squared. and g prime of x is equal to cosine x plus 2x. And now we can plug into the chain rule. So y prime is equal to f prime of g of x times g prime of x. F prime here is 3x squared, but I replace this x with g of x, so that's sine x plus x squared, all of this squared, times g prime, which is cosine x plus 2x. And this is our derivative. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, this is f prime of g of x, and this is g prime of x. That is it for now.